Cute to boot, but very low poly, Speedmaster tickled my pickle when I saw it release onto Steam because it had that cutesy Scare-lectric vibe, and it's a one-button racing game. So by that I mean that you press and hold a button to accelerate, let go to brake, and it auto-steers around just like a Scare-lectric's track, and all of the physics kind of follows that same vein. So if you go too fast into a corner, the car skids. Go way too fast, your car will just spin off and needs to be reset. The same thing applies when it comes to jumps though, and Speedmaster has an awful lot of stunt driving in it. This means that you'll go leaping off of a ramp, need to A, hit the other side by going fast enough to make it, but also when you're in the air, if you don't accelerate, you'll backflip, and if you do accelerate, you'll forward flip. So you're trying to hover on the accelerator to try and, almost like a ski jump game, land as appropriately as possible to keep your speed and momentum up, but also to not damage your car. Damage is definitely a thing in this game, and your car will explode if you abuse it. This game is split into several different modes. There's a single player campaign which gives you 30 different tracks with increasing difficulty for you to try and survive. And by survive I mean don't damage and blow up your car, get to the end of the track, but also beat a gold medal time. And you'll need to do all three in order to get 3 stars and unlock some of the future tracks further down the campaign. The bar to entry to unlocking future tracks is quite high, so it does require repeated use over and over and over again. And that means being very to the wire when you're trying to go round corners, but also you get a boost when you jump start, you get a boost when you land a jump effectively. All of these things help to try and get you under that gold medal tier. The other thing around this game is the multiplayer aspect. So you can have up to 4 players playing locally, trying to get around various different circuits. And there's 10 or 12 of those that are separate from the main single player campaign. And these circuits require 2 laps of running around to see who's going to win and be first and fastest. Again, the same principles apply though. It's just instead of it being a beginning to end track, it's now a circuit for you to do a couple of laps on. This is also the mode that takes you into the online daily challenge, and this is, to be fair, where I've spent the most majority of my time. There are ghosts from everyone else downloaded onto your PC. So when you go into a race, it puts the next person on the leaderboard as a ghost on your screen. And so you get to see where they did well and didn't, and you can race them as you try to beat them up the leaderboard. And if you do and are successful, it will then download wherever the next person is on top of you in the leaderboard for you to constantly race against. And I really like the implementation of this because it keeps you just like a little drip of, come on, you can beat this person now, constantly going, and so it drip feeds you that competitive nature throughout Speedmaster. Whilst you're doing all of this, you're earning coins. Coins can be taken to the garage to unlock new cars. Now, the cars don't really feel or handle any differently whatsoever, but they do distinguish you cosmetically when you're going into local multiplayer or the online leaderboards as well, because there's a podium ceremony at the end of each daily challenge, and you're all competing in a season for point scoring depending on where you end up on the leaderboard, which is quite cool. Each car also has 5 different colour schemes, which the coins will unlock as well. So there's a little bit of a grind to try and get the kind of cars that you want. Some are set behind certain unlockables of getting so far in single player or local multiplayer online, like daily challenges. But the vast majority of it can be unlocked just through playing the game, earning coins. It's not stingy, it's just you're going to need to put in a couple of hours to get all of the cars so that you can then pick and choose what you want. I've really enjoyed this game. It's a bit rough around the edges, and my main complaint with this is just how imprecise the jumping mechanic is. Because when you're in the air, I never quite feel like I'm in control of exactly what the trajectory of my car is for when I land. Because if you leave it slightly too late, your car upends and wants to backflip. But then if you then floor the accelerator, it kind of spins around the other way, but is a bit laborious and low slung, so it just kind of it weighs around and then you kind of belly flop onto the ground. But if you leave it too late, it's really difficult to then kind of rear yourself back up again, because you're going to smash dashboard first into the ground. And yeah, I've been playing this game for a couple of hours. I still don't feel like I've got the knack of that at all. And essentially, because all of the circuits play into jumps, it's making me really struggle with the online leaderboard. One day in the daily challenge, I did become third and I got on the podium, and that was great. But it was probably the track that's got the least impact of jumps on it. And I was like, that's why I did well. It's an odd game, this one. I do enjoy it. It's difficult to recommend to other people unless you really enjoy cutesy time trial games. And because it's a one button game, I think that will put off a lot of people. But it does mean that it's a very low barrier to get in and start playing. That said, the game is also then simultaneously quite difficult, and a lot of the single player campaign is locked behind you being really dead on perfect with getting through various different tracks. So if you aren't very good at racing games, you're not going to see most of the single player experience, in my personal opinion, and you'll be stuck with the 12 tracks that are online and for local multiplayer. And that's only like 25% of the game. So there needs to be more local multiplayer kind of circuity tracks to offer this game out to be like an absolute top tier recommendation. I think it's a curio that quite a few people will enjoy, but it's for a very specific time trial based audience. For any of you over on highplayinggames.com, take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.